Hey everybody, it's Shelley Hoffman, and I am here with our mayor in the village of Baldwinsville, Dick Clarke. And we got through the 4th of July weekend. I talked to Chief Leffencheck. I don't know if you saw that, Mayor, or not, but
I
very
saw most.
quiet, yep, quiet weekend in the village. So, how was your 4th of July?
Very nice. We ended up with a little bit of a cookout. Actually, we didn't do anything the third or the fourth, but on the fifth, we went over to my sister's house, which she's right here in Candlewood, where I am, and my other sister showed up. So we had five of us, and we were, reasonably spread out, and had a little cookout, and just sat and visited, and it was a really nice day, uh, nice breeze, and so it was very comfortable. I was very pleased that. Um, like on the third, we heard some fireworks, and then on the fourth, a little, but really not as bad as other years, as far as I
Yeah.
could see. Um, so maybe we got away with it this year, which is nice. I did see a video somewhere of, I can't think of what city it was, but like everybody message must have got around, and so they had a drone picture, and fireworks went off all over the whole city at the same time for about 2 minutes, and so that was kind of interesting. I guess people just don't understand the problems with how dangerous fireworks is, and particularly right now, as dry as it is, we could have a piece going into the wrong bunch of brush, and we could have had quite a brush fire at like 11 o'clock at night, which would have been a lot of fun to try to fight. So we were fortunate we got away with it. We got some stuff going on. One thing I've got to make sure that I don't forget, because I did forget it at the village board meeting the other night, and Maureen Butler was going to lynch me. No, village elections, September 15th. We've announced that before, but we want to remind everybody that it's the 15th, but it will be at Village Hall. You had to make some sort of an application to have it somewhere else. We don't know any place else we would have it that would be better than Village Hall. Um, Apparently, there's no authority for anybody to make this a absentee ballot only kind of an election, and it would have to come from the governor. But absentee ballots for those people who normally have difficulty getting in to vote, go through the normal channels, through the clerk's office, and they will send you out your um, absentee ballot. So I would get that taken care of, so there's not a crunch later, and it's hard getting your ballot out to you in time. We have four people running for three um, trustee seats, and what will happen after we have the election, we'll then be able to have our annual meeting in which we do our appointees. The state said in some cases mayors were running. There was a competition for mayor, so they didn't want a mayor who might get defeated to set up the year appointments, and then the new mayor would be stuck with the wrong person running a committee and that type of stuff. So we put that on hold. Everything that was in place as an appointment just was extended. So
This is the election that was supposed to be in March, correct?
right,
Right
March, and then
when,
it went to June and July, and then they finally figured, well, let's put it far enough back. And September looked pretty safe before. I don't know, the way the country's going right now. We're fairly safe, but how long that will stay, I don't know.
yeah.
It's kind of scary. I'd hope that for the sake of school and everything else that we would be in great shape, but kind of just got to sit back and wait and hope it doesn't get worse. Um, the village hall also is looking into doing what the police department has done. The police department has put a camera at their main entrance. It's locked. It has a buzzer. And so if you come to the police department and you say, I need a handicap sticker, they will say, show us your mask. And when you come in, please use the sanitizer. If it's not something for their people to handle, they'll tell you where to go, whether it's for Village Hall or the courts to go around the back of the building. If it's something they can mail to you, they would do that. So we would probably put one of those on the village hall entrance door so that we could, for a while at least, control who comes in the building when we finally get back to being more open. There's typically people who have parking tickets and speeding tickets will just wander in the building and go to the court. At this time, we would say, who are you here to see? Say, I've got a ticket to pay for the court. We would then be able to call the court clerk to come up and either take their money at the door or guide them back to wherever they got to go. Just trying to keep traffic to a minimum and keep our people safe. So that's what we're looking at for Village Hall. Everything will be masks. If you're going to come in, you got to have a mask on. There'll be sanitizer that you'll be asked to use immediately. And
will you have the form, Mayor? Will you have the form to fill out like they have at the town of Lysander building, just asking if you've traveled? You say yes or no to some of the COVID questionnaires.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have to have something like that. Do you have any symptoms? Have you been around anybody who's sick? Yes, no. And if you answer yes to any of them, we won't let you in the building, which probably we shouldn't tell anybody because then they'll answer no to everything anyways. But it is a safeguard, and we may ask people to take their temperature before they come in, have a stand set up and tell us what the temperature is. And hopefully it'll work, and hopefully things will get better. Whether we ever go back to normal, what we think is normal.
Yeah.
A lot of bigger brains than mine have been trying to figure that out. Nobody's come up with an answer yet.
No, the school district sent out an email yesterday just stating, hey, we're trying to figure things out, give us time, but they're waiting for direction from Governor Como. I mean, without the governor giving some ideas of what they can do, they're kind of stuck in their planning.
Yeah, I asked, my neighbor's got 2 kids in school, and I said, have you heard anything? And he said, well, the only thing we're hearing is the possibly Tuesday, Thursday, 1 week, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday the next week, and then you'd be online on the days you're not in school. Other kids will be there those days. So like a teacher that has 24 students, she'll have 12 of them Tuesday and Thursday, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday the next week, and the other 12 would be home on the opposite day, and that type of stuff. That's just one possibility. I've heard things that maybe it would be October 1st before they started school. That would give them another month for things to quiet down. Maybe kids wouldn't move from class to class. Teachers would move instead because there would only be one person moving around. Maybe they'd only go a half a day to avoid lunch. So one group would leave before lunch, then they'd sanitize the school, and then another group would come in after lunch. That way the whole lunch process is avoided. Well, just wait and see on that one.
Ben, who's watching, just mentioned about Durkee sending home the survey, and Baker and the other schools did that as well, just to kind of get maybe some parent input on what people feel safe with. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what the governor says is safe. So
right, and obviously a huge concern. I was reading a story that there's still a lot of people who don't have access to the internet, particularly in rural areas where there is no Wi-Fi. I'm sure the governor could very simply order the extension of Wi-Fi into all those areas, but there's families that maybe multiple families live together and they have 6 or 7 kids in an apartment. Who gets the laptop? And they all got classes coming over. Now maybe they're taped so that some of them can watch them in the evening, but it does kind of take away the academic atmosphere as far as thinking you're learning. I mean, you're just kind of doing it to get through it, I guess. And in school, a teacher can tell when you're not paying attention and work on you a little bit. That doesn't happen so well on Zoom.
No, I will tell you, I learned I don't share very well with online learning because I had to give up my laptop a few times. And if you've ever seen me, I'm attached to my phone, I'm attached to my laptop. So
now the truth comes out. Let's see what else. Codes, nothing too big from Codes, except they are going to do a Zoom meeting on the 13th, a zoning board of appeals meeting, which will be live on the Codes Facebook site. And anybody who would want to make a comment during the public hearing session part of that meeting can call and get a link, call the Codes office, and they will tell them how to sign in. As I said, I think I said last time, it's one that's already been judged on before. It looks like it's a pretty simple one, but somebody might want to oppose it or ask a question, and they'll have that ability.
Okay.
The same thing with our village board meeting. A week from tomorrow, we have a public hearing, and people who would like to make a comment during the public hearing can call Village Hall, and the clerks will give you the link to the Zoom meeting, and you'll be able to be live during the public hearing. You'll be able to say something. The rest of the meeting you can't, but it's pretty straightforward. It's, we had water lines broken down by Atlantic Seafood after a fire down that way, and we had to bring in a commercial company to finish it, and we had to take money out of a water fund, and to do it we have to have board approval with a public hearing. So it's not a public hearing like, do we have concerts on the island, which would stir up a lot of people, type of stuff. So I don't expect a huge outcry, but it will be available. Let me see if there's anything else here. I got a couple pages of notes. DPW made an announcement yesterday that ash trees in the village, we're going to start the process of cutting down the diseased ones, which is almost all of them. There's the emerald ash borer that gets into these trees and kills them. This is going to be a long process. There are some smaller trees. Steve D'Arcangelo pointed out that up on Castor Bridge, about every 5th or 6th tree is an ash tree. He said if you drive up through Castor, you can see which ones are the ash trees because they're dead. So our guys will go in and cut them down, and then we'll come along. I don't know how soon afterwards, but sometime afterward, and replace them with a different kind of tree. So we will have a tree for a tree replacement type thing. Not going to be on private property. This is only going to be what we call street trees, the ones that are in our right of way or at our parks. Now, the ones at Mercer Park and Community Park, there's several of them and they're big. So we'll probably have to hire somebody to do that, and it's not in this year's budget, so probably something we'll have to budget for next year or the year after. But so if you see people coming in and cutting trees, don't panic. We're not getting rid of trees, except we are getting rid of the diseased ones and replace them. And that will be a lengthy process, but not something we really want to do. But it's just, they're going to die, and they don't look good, and they're going to fall over and cause problems. And so we'll be starting that. I'm assuming sometime soon, because that was why the announcement went out. We have started our project at Canton Woods. The asbestos flooring has been removed. We've awarded a contract for the divider door that separates the big room into 2 rooms. We're just working now on getting somebody to put down the new floor, and the fellow community development that we go through is on vacation this week, so we're having to wait till he gets back for an approval. People on Ellsworth Road may have noticed. Go ahead.
Real quick, Mayor, does that mean that Mills on Wheels will be closed for another week? Because I know they took 2 weeks while Canton Woods was getting a new floor.
I think they were closed last week and this week, and then they should be open. It was the asbestos part, the removal, because they taped the doors shut and nobody can be in that part of the building. And I think Don and the crew just thought it would be smarter not to be in there, just in case something lingered in the air. So they're taking this week off too.
Okay.
Ellsworth Road, we're redoing a pump station on Ellsworth Road that some electrical boards need to be replaced, that type of thing. And that will mean that 3 of our 4 pump stations, which pump sewage from low areas up to the sewer, which is actually higher at that point, 3 of the 4 will have been renovated and in great shape. And the 4th one is on Gentry and is in pretty good shape as it is, but that will be on the agenda not too far down the road. One of the things that when I was elected mayor, not that it was really different than anything that had been done before, but I really wanted to emphasize upgrading our facilities, that we look good to the public, because after all, their money pays for our buildings and our people, and let's have the buildings at least look presentable. They don't have to look brand new all the time, but we have new roofs on most of our buildings in the village over the last few years. As Steve said, with our work, the motto kind of is, the work that we do is, our job is so that you don't even know we exist. Because I said to him, there's a lot of work that we do that people like. How many people in the village actually drive on Ellsworth Road to see that we're out there doing some work?
Right.
And most of what we do is kind of like behind the scenes, but your water keeps coming because of the work that got done at the water department. Your sewers work because of we clean the lines out, that type of thing. So if you don't see problems and you don't see your DPW, that's good. It means they're doing their work and getting done and getting out of there. Occasionally you get a project like down by Atlantic Seafood and the street's tied up for a couple of days. Everybody in the village sees it because everybody drives by there.
Right.
Excuse me. But we probably do a lot more work than people are aware of on things that they don't even know exist, which is okay. But I've had people say, well, what does your DPW do besides plow snow and mow grass? And he said, well, every time you turn the faucet on, the water runs, because there's guys every day checking the pumps to make sure they don't fail at a bad time, and then suddenly your water is a trickle or that type of thing. So hats off to our DPW for just getting the job done all the time.
Yeah.
Now this will interest you. We have some property by the DPW on the Emmerich Road side facing Burnderry. If you know where our DPW is on 370, if you turn on Emmerich Road, Burnderry's on your right. There's some property immediately on the left. We are trying to subdivide that to sell, to see if there's maybe commercial people thinking that would be a good spot for some type of business, or residential if somebody wanted to build a couple houses on those 2 pieces of property. We're going before the Lysander Planning Board to explain our plans and what we're hoping to do, and I hope that they give us the okay to go ahead and subdivide that, and then we would put it up for sale. So in that line of work, it's always nice for you to know there's new property going to be available.
I do. There's a lot of businesses that want to come to Baldwinsville. It's a very growing area. So
yeah, and that's not a bad spot. It's just outside the village, very close to getting on 690. So if you were something that would appeal to people from, say, Fulton or from the city, come right out 690, get off, and it's right across the street from Burnderry. It's very accessible, and depending on the type of business, might be a great spot. So we're hoping that there'll be some interest, and it's just property that we just mow the grass all the time and don't use. We do put mulch on it when we have extra mulch, and then tell the public they can pick it up. But we could do that somewhere else. I mean, it just is convenient. So that property may be on the selling block before too long.
Oh, nice.
Canton Woods, as I said, the flooring is in the middle of getting done. Other things going on. I talked to Joni, our deputy director, yesterday. Ruth is on vacation. She said a lot of people have been calling for the farmers market coupons, and they're making a list for when they do come out. I hope that's pretty soon because it is we're into July already, and hopefully the county will get those going. Also, the tomorrow is the deadline for the Monday frozen lunch pickup. So if anybody out there, seniors, wants to order a Salisbury steak lunch, call the senior center and they put you on the list, but you got to call by tomorrow, and then they'll tell you when to come Monday to pick it up.
Okay.
Sounded like they had it. I guess they have about 20 people had signed up already, which is average or more than what they get on a typical lunch day at the center for people to come in. So it's a nice opportunity for people to grab a couple and even stick them in the freezer and leave them there until a day when they don't have another idea for a meal. They pull that out and stick it in the microwave and have a nice meal. So that's a good deal. And then Monday would be the deadline to get the food next Friday. So call the senior center, 638-4536, and make sure they know you want to be involved. I'm not sure the method for paying, but you don't get out of your car. I know that. And just drive up, pick up your package, and get out of there.
Nice.
I did ask Joan if there was any news about outdoor activity because the county had said that was okay. The Tai Chi instructor is so far the only instructor who's interested or willing to do the outside class. So on Tuesdays, Tai Chi class will meet outside. So
do they need to register for that or something, Mayor? Or how does people join that class? Do you know?
They sign up through this, they call the center and say they're interested. So again, if somebody would be interested in Tai Chi, I would call this week and find out what the process would be to sign up. It's
Okay.
a little different protocol as far as the workout. I mean, I've been in there when they have like broom handles and they do, a lot of this working and thrusting and so on. It's a nice, you have to be kind of disciplined when you do it. It's kind of it looks to me like a combination of yoga and karate and that type of stuff.
Right.
And so that's the first outdoor activity. Hopefully other people will see that goes well. And I know that Joni said a lot of people have been calling wanting to know when Beeville Express will be back. We haven't gotten the word when that would be okay. Anybody with needs to get to appointments, if you call the center, they will refer you to Oscar, which is Onondaga County's taxi service type thing.
Yeah.
And they'll set you up with a ride. Let me see what I have, if there's anything else. So things, again, little bit of normal. I hope our numbers in the county stay down. I know they're up a little bit yesterday and Monday, not significantly.
Right.
Our numbers have been very good. If we stay down, more activity like this will be allowed. I did not talk to Pastor Mudge, but they've had good weather for the Sunday morning, so I hope that's going well. I did see a picture somewhere on Facebook of a crew, all had masks on, a bunch of them posing for the camera in front of the amphitheater. So like to see that kind of stuff. What else? I think our flowers look beautiful. I was telling Steve the other day that the pots that sit on the ground look very different, but I think they look great. They're extraordinary. Our garden club just does well. And I know We have a lot of people involved. I know on Friday I saw our gardener watering plants. Even it was a holiday, but she's a part-timer. It's a different situation, and she has another job, so she's available on Fridays. So she was watering plants. I know my sister waters the flowers at a lot of the entrance to the village signs. So a lot of people have a hand in making the village look nice, and then we have our DPW. I know comes in early, like on Fridays, and they do the street sweeping around Village Square and the downtown area, particularly, so that for the weekend when we have more people in the village, it looks better. And that's kind of been a Chuck McAuliffe kind of thing for years, to get a few of the guys in early. Let's get the streets, the garbage picked up. Steve was saying the other day that he was in the village, trying to think where he was, but he said on Saturday, and the trash cans were full, and we empty them on Fridays. Now, we emptied them on Thursday last week because of the holiday, so by Saturday they were full. We've had people asking for more trash cans and for more dog poop stations, and as he said, that just extends it basically. Again, people don't realize, but on a Friday when we go around and empty the trash cans, 2 of our summer help all day emptying trash cans. So
Wow.
so people might think it's not that big a deal to empty the trash can, but when you have 50 of them and they're spread out all over the village in parks and places, and then they have to do the dog stations, and so it basically is 7 to 3 on Friday. 2 summer helpers are doing nothing but picking up trash. So another one of those things where most people don't notice that, and it's been a little harder to keep in front of it this year because more people are out. More people are spending time on the trails and at the parks, which is a great thing.
Right.
But it doesn't come without a little bit of a complication at our end for more work. But
To accommodate it.
Steve was going to go out and look at where some of the suggestions had been for the dog stations and for trash can. People were pretty good about saying, I think you should have one here. It seems like this is where people are ending a walk or beginning to walk. So, he's going to ride around, take a look. And then the normal stuff, the police have been doing their stuff. I know Mike has been pleased, and I know he mentioned it, that the community has been terrific as far as recognizing the police and sending over boxes of donuts or pizzas or sandwiches, all kinds of good stuff to eat. I hope they're keeping busy, because a lot of people put on a lot of weight during this virus. Eating.
Oh, I know. Well, and I think it's twofold. It's one, to show the appreciation of the police, but it's also because we're trying to support local, and we are kind of packing on the pounds a little bit. It's a way to spread the calories to other people with it as well. Going back to the flowers, Mayor, the pots, you said they're a little bit different. You'd mentioned that last week too, and I forgot to look into it. But if anybody watching or sees this later, the flowers that are in the middle, when they first planted those pots, those flowers stuck up about this much higher than the rest of the flowers. And it's been amazing to watch over the course of the weeks, as you water it and the flowers grow, how the flowers have kind of risen up to where that one plant is. But I have never seen that plant before. And I don't have a green thumb. I kill everything. But if anybody knows the plant, or if you know that one that's in the center that kind of stands up tall.
It does stand out when you look at it, but I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, it's really cool. And to see everything kind of, whoever put that together, to recognize that the other flowers were going to come and meet it, and just fill that basket. They did a great job. So I meant to ask you last week. I totally forgot.
It looks great. And every year we recognize the Garden Club because they do such a nice job. And they do it so willingly. I mean, they want to help make the village look beautiful. And I certainly appreciate it. I know an awful lot of other people, board members and former board members that I talked to, who just always have nice things to say about the flower, and don't ever not have the flowers. And it's special in our village, and I think it is. It's really, I think I mentioned it before. When the flowers are really full and the flags are flapping in the breeze, it's really nice to be downtown. And then we've got such nice places to eat, and we haven't so far. I haven't heard any complaints. I mean, specifically, I have not gotten one call. I can't say that Greg hasn't, although I think he would have said something. Mike Leffencheck, I have not heard from him that there's been a problem. I think all of our business people are doing what they're supposed to do. And it just makes me feel very proud of our community. Because there's not everybody's doing that.
Now, there are a couple places that chose not to open just because they didn't feel like necessarily policing who's wearing a mask, who's not wearing a mask. And the businesses that made that choice, they get patrons from a lot of other areas too. So it's not just, Baldwinsville that are coming into those businesses. So I like to think that as Beeville, since what we have going on has been working, that the people that are are struggling to wear the masks and things like that, either are staying home in Baldwinsville and they're just not coming here and they're going elsewhere, or the places that don't open. But WT Brews, they did post that they were not opening holiday weekend because they didn't feel like policing. And again, they're a great location, outside seating. They have some food trucks that come in, Twisted Taco for tacos, and you don't blame them. They gave their employees a holiday break from worrying about masks and different things because it's a different world that we live in. So I thought that was kind of nice of them to recognize it, B, put it out to the public and say, hey, this is why we're not opening. Wear your masks, and we probably would be open, and then just to give their employees a break too. So. Sure. Was there anything else you'd like to mention?
I don't think so. I think we covered quite a bit. And again, I repeat, I've said this before, but when we talk, I hear people like within the week before we meet again, referencing things that we were talking about. So we have some people watch. I hope that as much as I over talk, I hope the message that I'm pushing out there is, it's helping people. We hope that the seniors listen and take advantage of programs that the election stuff just kind of keep reminding people when it is, and anything with a deep, stuff that people, I hope it's useful information. It seems people are reacting, and I really appreciate the forum that you've given us. I know the police chief really thinks it's great for him to have a chance to, to talk a little bit about the fact that everything that they're saying in the country, our police departments need to do to upgrade, we've already upgraded about 98% of it. So, we're way ahead of the curve. Speaking, curve seems to be the big word. Flattening the curve, getting ahead of the curve. We are ahead of it. And hats off to all the chiefs that we've had who have established that protocol. So I think people should feel great comfort in knowing that our village is working good, and all of our business people are working hard to make it work too. It's a nice partnership, and hopefully one day we'll say, you know what? Everything is such that I don't think we need to do this anymore. Everything is kind of calmed down, and can only hope and pray that we get to that point.
Absolutely. Maybe next week we'll have a different platform. There was at some points that you looked pixelated. I was going to comment, you look like you're in the witness protection program talking to me, because your face kind of, at least from what I can see.
I don't have a number across there.
but I'm one of the things I'm doing down the building is creating kind of a recording studio area, and I'm hoping that the bandwidth when I create that, so hopefully it'll be ready in a week, maybe 2 weeks, and we'll see how things go. Because for those of you that don't know, when we're talking, it's the bandwidth that is creating kind of that pixelation or the delay, things like that. And it took us a while to figure out how to make it as strong as possible, but sometimes it still gets kind of tweaked between where you are and where I am because we can't be in the same space. But yeah, there was a couple times if you saw me smile, I had the witness protection program thought going through my head. I was looking.
I didn't mention, but I have noticed boats tying up at the docks. The other day I looked and there were 5 boats over there. So, you know, people are starting to realize the docks are in, and that may create a little more business for some of our restaurants and stuff. Yeah. So always nice to drive down on River Street and see the boats tied up over there. It's a nice, it's just kind of like things are a little normal.
Yeah.
We need a little normal.
The only thing I'll add to that, because I'm sure people were thinking about it, as the boats come in, that's probably more garbage because they have no home to take it to. Yeah. So it goes back to that garbage. And again, people are out and about. 4th of July, people traveled less than they'd ever traveled. They stayed home, you know, whether they went to a park or they went somewhere. So it makes sense that we would be having more garbage around the village, you know, but I have much faith in Steve and those guys of figuring out how to just keep our village as clean and beautiful as it always is. So, all right, Mary, well, thanks again for chatting with me on this beautiful Wednesday. And I look forward to next week.
Stay cool.
Bye.
Bye-bye.